Hello and welcome, Big Blue Nation. This is an exciting off season that we're having, and I'll be making videos about the different things that are happening this off season, and those will come in the future. But today I have a theory of mine that I have been developing the past few years. It's just kind of a trend that I've noticed, and I've made it into kind of my own theory just this year. So let's get into it. At the beginning of November every year, ESPN hosts the Champions Classic, and it's where it pits four of the greatest college basketball programs of all time: Michigan State, Kansas, Duke, and Kentucky. And these four programs alternate playing each other every year. It's really a great event to kind of see where each team is at the beginning of the year, and especially for Kentucky, since Calipari got here, we've had young talent, and I've found that the Champions Classic is kind of a good indicator for how good our regular season is going to be. Whether it's going to be kind of a rough one for Big Blue Nation, we're going to have like a hard time watching, it's going to be losses, not a normal Kentucky season, or if we win, it's going to be a really good one. And I think that this is a really good indicator of how well our season is going to go. Now, it doesn't have anything to do with the postseason, because Calipari always has us ready for the postseason, no matter what team it is, and no matter how bad we did during the regular season, he's always going to have us ready. So, just a disclaimer, this is just for the regular season. Now, let's take a look at the trends that we have for every year. I say that if we win the Champions Classic, it's going to be a painless year for UK. Maybe a few losses, but not too many. It's going to be a good year. We're going to be in the top tier of the basketball field. So as you can see here, in 2011 and 12 season, we played Kansas for the first time, and we beat them 75-65. Obviously, this is the year that we went on to win the national championship. But during the regular season, we only had one loss, and that was to Indiana on a last-second shot when Anthony Davis was in a lot of foul trouble during that game. The very next year, 2012 and 13, Kentucky played Duke, and we lost 68-75. Now, the rest of the season was absolutely abysmal. We won 21 games and lost 10, and we missed the tournament that year. Probably by far the worst year that Calipari has had, and it's just kind of it was kind of a calling card at the beginning of the year when we played Duke and lost. 2013 and 14, we lost to Michigan State 74-78. The rest of the season, we went on to go 22-9. Now, this was a team that had a lot of hype. It was considered the greatest class of freshmen ever at the time. I think we had 8 or 9 guys coming in, including Harrison Twins and Julius Randle and James Young and all those guys. And at the beginning of the year, people were printing 40-0 t-shirts, and it kind of became a joke around the country the rest of the year because we were not close to 40-0 at all. But as you may remember, we had a good tournament run, but that's not what this is about. This is regular season. 2014 and 15, we beat Kansas 72-40. We absolutely destroyed them. Our defense was suffocating. I remember, I think there was a stat that said Kansas had more turnovers than they had field goals in the entire game. 11. That's crazy. That just shows how good our defense was this year. And it truly was a great year because we went on to go 31-0 in the regular season. 2015 and 16. This was our year with Jamal Murray and Tyler Ulis and Isaiah Briscoe in the backcourt. Kentucky beat Duke 74-63. The rest of the season, we went 23-8. Now, this may be the only blemish in my theory for if we win the Champions Classic, then we have a good season. I think this is just an exception to the rule because Duke was not up to its standard this year. I think in a normal year with the team that we had, we would have lost to Duke. But Duke almost was pretty close to missing the tournament themselves by the end of the year. So not a normal Duke team. I think in a normal setting we would have lost to Duke. Didn't have a great year. Still fun though. 2016 and 17, Kentucky beat Michigan State 69-48. Now this was an absolute destruction of Michigan State, and I think this was kind of weird because this wasn't really a memorable Champions Classic, and I think that that's because Michigan State wasn't up to their normal greatness as they usually are. They weren't as good as people thought they were going to be, but I still think in a normal year we would have beaten them with this team because this team was pretty good. We went on to win 26 and lose 5. So pretty good year. We got pretty deep in the tournament, but there's another check for my theory. 2017 and 18. This was a pretty weird year for us because we lost to Kansas 71-75. And it came down to the kind of the last seconds, but we still lost, didn't have the poise that we needed to pull that one out. We went 21-10. Now, if you'll notice, this is the exact same record we had in the 2012 and 13 season. Now, this is weird to me because in my mind, 2012 and 13 was a much worse year for us. I mean, we were just absolutely awful, and I think it's because even when we won, it was ugly that year. And the fact that we got knocked out of the SEC tournament really early and didn't even make the NCAA tournament. So that all kind of piles up in how bad 2012 and 13 was. But I think with 2017 and 18, we had a lot more guys that are at a pretty average level of talent, maybe above average. Not great like we usually have, but we had a lot more of it. And a lot of guys that could play. And we didn't have a serious injury like Nerlens Noel in 2012 and 13. But this team just seemed to be more fun. I definitely loved a lot more of the guys on this team than the one in 2013. But we did make the tournament, and we did all right. Not as good as we would have hoped with our layout in the tournament, but still a great group of guys, and a lot of them are coming back next year. So as you can see, pretty much every year that we win the Champions Classic, we go on to have a pretty good season. Now, I'm not saying that this is just a light switch, that it's just, oh, we win the Champions Classic, automatic good year. I'm saying that because we win the Champions Classic, it shows us how good we actually are. Because in that early in the season with the young guys that we usually have, it shows how far along they are mentally, not just physically, but mentally, to be able to beat really good teams really early. And if we're able to do that early, then it's only getting better from there. It's not like it's going to be a season-long process of Cal having to teach these guys how to play poised and clutch basketball and not crumble in the moment. They already got that if they win the Champions Classic. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I have a lot more theories and lists and discussions that I'm planning on going through. If you have any ideas for me to discuss something or something you want to hear from me, comment down below. Like the video if you liked it, and subscribe. I'm going to be making a lot more videos this summer, and once the season starts, I'm going to be doing game recaps and hopefully game predictions for before the games. So yeah, if you like the channel, like the content, subscribe. See y'all next time.